William is in Hornsby, that's New South Wales. What are you doing, William?
Oh, it's actually Richard here. I am in
Richard.
Hornsby. That's okay. Good morning, Macca. Good morning to all your listeners, and good morning to all my fellow radio hams. I'm Richard VK2SKY. That'll pick up a number of beers. I'm just here to tell you this morning that next Sunday morning, the 26th of February, will be the centennial of the Manly-Warringah Radio Society here in Sydney.
Uh-huh.
The club originally started in Manly as the Manly and District Radio Club. And, we're just going to have a little party. We're going to be setting up a special event station, as we call it. Our normal club call sign is VK2MB. So we're going to be running a special station throughout the year, VI100MB, just so it stands out that it's a centennial station. And we'll be having lots of fun on the radio. So that's the short story.
Richard, you're what they used to call hams, aren't you? Is that right?
Some of us still call ourselves hams. I do. I know it's an Americanism, but as you might guess from my accent, I'm not quite from around here. But yes, people do tend to recognize the term ham radio more than they do amateur radio. We still use that term.
Yeah, my dad was VK2EQ years ago.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
He used to talk all over the world to people, and he'd come back and he'd say, "Oh, did you know Marlon Brando was a ham?" And
yes,
and
he was. Yeah.
Then he'd say, "I was talking to the second trumpet today in the Glenn Miller band," and I said, "Oh, what did you say, Dad?" "Oh, well, he's coming in 60s over 80s. You know how hams talk and all that sort of." They never wanted. I said, "But what was he talking?" But no, he's running 200 watts over this, all this sort of stuff. But anyway, so I know about, but I didn't think it was. Now they call it, and it used to be. My father would say, "I'm just going up on the net." He had a shed in the back and all his stuff, and which subsequently got robbed and stolen. But then that's what happens. But it was called. He said, "I'm just going on the net." But now the net's called the net's the net, and.
The net. We still do have nets ourselves. I'll be taking part in the net later. After this call, I'm going over to Jurrell, which is about 10 k's away from here, and I'm going to be doing a stint on another radio station called VK2WI. We have a news broadcast every Sunday morning and Sunday evening on the shortwaves, and afterwards we'll be having nets with listeners all over New South Wales, sometimes interstate as well. So. Looking forward to that.
So Richard, is it still popular, or is it just gradually dwindling away?
Oh, everybody says that it's dwindling away, but it's not.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
No. It's still very much alive. There's about 15,000 radio hams in Australia. There's a couple of million worldwide. So, I think we've been fairly stable at around like 1 per 1,000 of the general population. But it isn't as high profile as it was, say, 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, because things like mobile phones have made it easier to communicate for the layman. But it's still very much there, and still very, very useful. You might have heard that they've been having lots of weather problems over in New Zealand. There's a ham radio network over there called ARIC, which has been helping out the civil defense there. We have a similar group here in Australia called WISEN, which today is actually coincidentally conducting a disaster simulation exercise on the shortwave bands. So we like to keep busy and keep useful to the community as well.
Richard, tell me your Australian story. You're from America, I assume. When did you come and why?
Have we got all night? No, I did live in New York back in the 70s. I'm actually from Ireland originally, and that's where I got my first ham radio license as well. I was EI6 BTB back then. But back in the 80s, Ireland was going through one of its periodic depressions, and I had a lot of friends who'd been out to Australia on working holiday visas, and they were killing themselves, wishing they could come back. And I thought, why don't I apply for a residency visa? And if I don't like it, they can't keep me here. But that was 1987, and I've liked it for the last 30 some odd years. I've been an Australian citizen since 1990, so I haven't managed to shake off the accent, though, unfortunately. But I'm working on that.
Well, nice to talk to you, Richard. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Macca. I'll look up VK2EQ and we'll find out more about him.
Good on you, mate. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Macca. Have a great day. 73. Bye.
73s. That's what they used to say. That's right. Yeah, interesting.